Hey everyone, it's Sam here, and today I'm going to show you how to make an 8x8 version of the storybook card. Now this was actually what kind of kick-started my pop-up side box mini series that I did. However, I ended up doing them quite different. This is like a storybook, little pages on the side. You've got that kind of book look to it. But this is the one I've made as an 8x8 size. See, we've got that detail on the side and also there, all on the back to write your message. And then I've just created this lovely scene using one of my new paper pads, which I'll show you in a moment. So if you prefer a 6x6 size, you'll find this in the playlist popping up now, but you might want to use this product, or this, you like this theme, you can easily use it on that size as well. I think it's absolutely adorable. I will add a 5x7 version of this, and then I'll just have those three in that little playlist. It's very easy to make, you don't need any specialty dies. I have used a die to cut the aperture, but you could draw around something, or you could use your trimmer as well. So it's a nice one if you've got limited supplies. But let's get started and I'll show you how to make it. So I'm using my new Enchanted Woods paper pad. This is so nice. You get your sheets here, but you get 2 of each sheet. You can see I've got 2 of that one there. You get 2 of that one, 2 of that one. And I mean, I've already pulled out the ones I'm going to use on this card, but I've got all of these left from just the first sheets. So you've still got all of that as well. So pop it all out, put it in a separate little bag. But these are a little bit thicker. This is 300 GSM. And you can see they're nice and strong. So they're going to be perfect for decorating, as I'm going to show you. And then you've got all your lovely scenes, and you've got a mix of grid designs there as well. So you get 4 each of 6 pattern papers, which are 150 GSM, and then 2 each of the 4 die cut topper sheets, which is 300 GSM. I'm going to use this set of nesting dies to cut my aperture. I'll give you the measurements in a minute. And then for this one, I'm having birthday wishes, and this is my new big words. So you get your stamps there that can create all of the different words. This is the 3rd collection I've brought out now of these. So you've got a big sympathy, big Halloween, big Christmas. You've got luck, good. So you can have good luck, good wishes. Then you've got home, hugs, wishes, got, get, and well. And then you can have all these. So you could have a small welcome, and then the big home. You can have happy Halloween, Christmas, cheer, or Merry Christmas. And if you've got all the other sets, then they all work together as well. So I've pulled out the pattern paper for the background. I'm going to go for this one here. Got the frame size, and then these are the ephemera that I've roughly laid out to decorate this style. Okay, so for the main case, you want a piece of 8.5 by 8. Along that 8.5 side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 2.5. And you're going to fold them both to the mounting folds like so. And then this is going to be for the back of the book case. This is 6 by 8, and that's going to attach like so. So you can see we've got our case there for our book. And then your side section, I've done this in white card, and I'm going to do the little squiggles down the side. This is a piece of 3 by 7 because you want it to be slightly smaller, and along the 3-inch side you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 2.5. So we've got the same 2-inch, if you fold those score lines, the same 2-inch section that we've got on the side here, and that's going to go inside with the book pages. And then I've got my 3 bars. Now you might want to have 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom. You could turn these this way. They could be clouds. You could cut a different shape into them. I've cut all these by hand. So they're all the same 6.5 in their length, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 6. So do that on the 3 pieces. But the heights of these, it's entirely up to you. It depends if you want to have a staggered effect, if you want to have them all the same height. If you go to the playlist, there's 7 different styles and ways of doing these, so you might get a bit more inspiration. But I've cut 1, 2, 3.5, and then I think this one's 3, and then this one is 2.5, and then I just cut my shape. So like I said, if you want to do clouds, you want to do rolling hills, you might want to cut it like a grass effect. I've inked mine up just so it gives it a little bit of interest, and then you just want to fold all of those side sections. That's how we're going to attach it all. If you want to stamp anything onto this, you want to do it before you stick it all in. So first of all, we will attach this together. So I'm going to have my join on the back so that when you're looking inside, you don't see any of this. So the join is nice and neat on the back there, but if you don't like that, then yeah, just cut another piece of card and sandwich it. Maybe a bit of pattern paper if you want. Next, we want to attach this piece. Now I want to have it so that it's 1/2 inch in from the side, 1/2 inch down from the top, and 1/2 inch from the bottom as well. because I've got my pattern paper, which is going to stick in here, and that's going to go over the top. And I can cut it so it's just the right size. Again, so it looks like a page of the book. All right. Now don't worry if you don't get this bang on, but you do want to make sure you get it straight. So I'm going to use my quick grab glue. The main bit to focus on is making sure that you get it 1/2 inch in from this side. The top and the bottom, they're a little bit out, it's not going to matter too much. I'm just going to lay my ruler here with the 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to sit this down right up to it there. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. I'm happy with that. Just run it that way. Again, just check. That's pretty good. Now, if you wanted to, you could create score lines every like 1/8 of an inch using your scoreboard. I've done that to create the look of pages before. But I think for this one, I'm just going to do what I did before, and that's literally just do the squiggly lines. But I might not do them squiggly. I might actually, what colour is this one here? I might actually draw these ones. Yes, that's black. You may want to do this before actually, but I'm just going to get my ruler. It's up to you how you space them apart. Okay, that made my eyes go really funny, but I think it looks quite effective. So you can see now when that's all stuck together, how it's going to look. Next, I am going to start sticking these in. So just as I do with all the other ones, you're going to start with your tallest piece, and you're going to stick everything within this 2-inch section here. So this first one is going to go in like so, the next one in front, and then in front again. I'm going to use the quick grab glue, run it down that tab. Now this time, with all the others, I've been lining it up with the bottom here, but with this one, you want to line it up so it's going to, the edge here is going to go up to the fold, but you want it to line up with the bottom of this piece. And then again with this one, you're going to add your glue to the right hand tab, and now you're going to sit it up to this piece here, and again make sure it's nice and parallel with the bottom there, and then fold that one over, and then this one. I just realised I've not cut my aperture either. I'm doing this all in different ways, but it's fine because you can still do it, and I'll just put a little note in the video to say cut your aperture on this piece before you stick it all together, but I can still do it. We'll have to go through a large die machine anyway because of the size of the card, and if you're cutting it by hand it wouldn't matter because you can still do that now as well. But there's our 3 sections, so you can see again when they come up now how cool they're going to look. So all you need to do next, here I need to cut the aperture, so I'm going to flip this over, and you can see I've already cut this frame here in the gold. So this is a piece of, what we got here, 5.5 by 7.5, and then this size aperture is 4.5 by 6.5. So if you've got the same dies, great. And I want to cut this into the green piece first. Now what I'll do when I run it through is I'll just make sure that I just go up to this section within my cutting plates, and that way none of that is going to go through the machine. So just make sure this is nice and straight and even and centered there in that piece, like so. So I'm just going to run that through. Okay, so that's cut out perfectly, and then I can stick this piece over the top. You could also back this with acetate if you want to. It looks really nice, especially on these kind of storybook style cards. Okay, so now flip it back over again, fold these all over, and now you can add your glue over these 3 tabs. They should all sit just next to each other, and the last one should sit right up to this fold here. So now you just want to fold this right over. Okay, and then carefully bring that up like so, and then the last bit to do is now attach this piece. So run your glue down your tab, and then I'm going to fold this one flat this way. So that's going into my aperture a bit. I thought it might, so if that's the case, just cut, because everyone's aperture is going to be different. I'm just going to cut a chunk of that away. It looks like I'm cutting all the tab away because of the way I've done the lines, but I actually went into that section. But that's still fine, I've got plenty there. There we go. As long as you've got enough for a part of it to stick in there, but just check that with the aperture, or just trim it like I did. Again, give that a minute, and then carefully just lift it up and just fold it back the other way, like so. How cool is that? And then get your pattern paper. You want to do this last, so it covers everything, and that's going to slide over the top, and that's going to reinforce the card as well, especially if you're using the construction glue. And then you're just going to line it up with that white piece. So now it's ready to decorate. I've got my birthday wishes, which I know I want to have kind of up in that corner there. I wanted to have the little tree trunk and the cute fox, and I thought they'd look nice even on the very front, so they're like coming out of the storybook. And then I'm just going to build everything up onto these. Now you could have movement, you could add a piece of acetate hanging down, you could have maybe a butterfly or something like hanging, you can add little spinners. I've got the butterflies, bees, they can all be attached like around here and on the back. The big toadstools, going to have them towards the back. So I'm just going to absolutely load this up now with all of these characters. This one here, happy birthday to you, I thought would be nice, maybe there, but if not, for the back. So it's almost like, you know, who this card belongs to kind of style. So yeah, I'm going to get it all done and I'll show you it when it's all finished. So that is the finished card, but I've had another little idea of adding an extra piece of detail to this. So I'm just going to cut this piece down to 8 by 3. Along the 3-inch side, you want to score at 1/2 inch and 2.5. Now you also then want to score, if you've got a scoreboard like me with 1/8 of an inch increments, you want to score at every single one of those. So, but between the 1/2 and the 2.5 score line. So just score all the way down. If you don't have it, you might just have to shift the card so you can create something similar. Or you could, but this gives a really nice spine effect. This is what you can also do for that white piece that I mentioned about. And then what you do is you turn it over and you just get a really nice detail. And if you fold the 2 outer score lines, okay, so that's going to fold flat. But before you stick it down, you want to curve this piece just between the 2 score lines. Now you could personalise this. You might want to not add the score lines, but stamp someone's name down this. You could add a little tassel. You could punch a little hole and have a tassel hanging down. You know, make it look like the real spine of a book. But you're going to fold those in, and then I'm going to stick that onto the side. Like so. I'm going to fold it completely flat, but because you've added that curve, it will just bounce up and it will, see that, it gives a really nice effect. So I'm going to use the quick grab glue, and then you're going to stick this one first to the very back part. It's just a nice added extra bit of detail. It really does kind of give it that book look. It could be like a leather. If you've got some of the fabric paper, you could use that as well. And then if I just fold the card flat, fold that over and just let it stick down. And because you kind of stretch the card when you used your bone folder to add that curve into it, that just lifts up enough to give you that book. You could also add a bit of shape into the side of that piece as well. There we go. But now we've got a nice detail on the side there. Done it the same thickness, that 2 inches, so that it all still folds flat. But if you wanted to, you could maybe do 1/4 inch bigger, so you've got more of a kind of arch there. But I just wanted a little bit of just padded effect, really, more than anything. But there you go. Bring it up a bit closer. So much detail on this one. I think it looks very, very sweet. Got a little owl up there as well. Little snail on the side. Room on the back there, and then that all folds flat and will go in an 8 by 8 envelope. Just bring back in this one here. So that was the 6 by 6. So you could, if you prefer making smaller cards, but you would like this theme, you could definitely add that to this one here. I think it looks very sweet. And that one folds down to your 6 by 6. and then that one to your 8x8. You can have it that way or that way. It's entirely up to you. So thank you for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial using my new paper pad here. I think it's absolutely wonderful and I can't wait to share more cards using this. You'll be able to find more tutorials using it, using my mechanism over on my Made to Surprise YouTube channel. I'll have all of that information linked in the description box below. And I'm going to add this one to my storybook playlist, which is where I'll have this one and also some other book style cards if you want to check it out to get some more inspiration. As always, thank you for watching. All the links to the products will be in the description box below as well. Give the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.